Hi, and welcome to another learning series with a better word. Today's conversation is tied to what I was talking about earlier, and since my research interest, is to do with writing, I try to look at various aspects that influence our writing. One of the challenges that young learners face is that you're introduced to writing very early on, and this causes a lot of problems later on, like I said previously. And some of the learning difficulties that children face, obviously there are many kinds of learning disabilities and difficulties, and the lesser known ones are bracketed under what is called dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and dyslexia. So I will encourage you to go back and look at these three different learning disabilities that children have, but my focus for today is specifically what is called dysgraphia. Graphia has to do with the word graph, which is to do with writing. So dysgraphia is an inability of a child to write. Now, children with dysgraphia show symptoms very early on. So at the age of 6 or 7, you will come across these challenges where the teacher tells you that your child has bad handwriting and that you need to work on it, and you perhaps have already shuffled your children off to handwriting classes in the hopes that their handwriting gets better, but it doesn't. So the problem is not that the child is disinterested or lazy or the teacher is not doing his or her job. The problem lies in the fact that children with this disability are unable to write no matter how much of effort somebody puts in, until the person understands the condition of dysgraphia. This condition is very unique in the sense that nobody knows why it comes into play. Children are able to spell the words orally. They're perhaps a grade or two above when it comes to being able to read, but when it comes to writing, they're just unable to articulate in the written format what is going on inside their minds. So spellings are completely jumbled up. They can't seem to spell the words correctly when it's written, but if you ask them, they're able to spell the words orally accurately. The other symptom or sign that you could perhaps notice is the fact that children have spatial orientation on page, which is a little difficult. So simple words like say what, W, H, there'll be a space, and AT. So they have trouble orienting words spatially on a page. They have trouble with spellings, and of course their handwriting is illegible. The insistence on cursive makes things worse, and especially in today's time when teachers are dictating notes to their students, it becomes even more challenging, because by the time the mind is able to understand what needs to go on the page, the teacher has already moved on to the next sentence, which makes it more difficult for the child with this disability, because he's unable to catch up. He's juggling multiple things in his mind, and by the time he's able to put all of this down, it just seems like a really big chaotic mess on the page. So I will request or recommend that you don't tell your child that he or she has bad handwriting. It could be something as simple as bad handwriting which needs work, but if it's not getting rectified with consistent help, then perhaps you need to look at this more deeply. The typical recommendation that comes from the school is that the child is lazy or disinterested, has trouble with spellings, and gets bracketed into a completely different kind of learning disability which can be detrimental to the child. So please stop and understand why perhaps your child has a problem with the written format, and the more you understand these things, the better it is long term for your child, because labeling and bracketing children today has become very commonplace, and that has its own set of problems. So look up dysgraphia, understand what this challenge is that children have when it comes to writing. Reach out to a person, a child specialist who understands these things and can provide short-term and long-term therapeutic help that will really help the child get better with the skills. So until I post again, enjoy learning. Bye-bye.